Hello there. It's a third line day and we're in gate 45, the gate of the gatherer, and the third line is called exclusion. Ra's comment on this line is that it's very, very weird. The 45 has a natural place within the community. It has a natural place in the genetic pool. They are really there to be in charge of material distribution and education and territory. They are there to protect those who are associated with them. In the exaltation, we have the ability, when excluded, to take whatever measures are necessary to dissolve the antiquated form and to accept even humiliation to achieve inclusion. The instinct to find a way to be included in the material process. So these are people who know that they are the ones that can bring benefits, but they do not always get the recognition because every time in their growing process that they offer to bring a benefit, so often there is a mistake involved and it doesn't really work out. And due to that, they don't necessarily trust themselves, and nor do others who hook into that energy trust them that there really is something there that can work. These are people who are always trying to get in from the outside, and they will do everything in their power to get in. They really don't want to be excluded. And being a third line, there is some trial and error involved because they'll do everything that they can to get inside. And this gate carries manifestor energy. They can get very angry if they can't get in on the process. As ever, there is nothing wrong with that as long as they're operating according to their own type. He knows how to get his resources. There's always the thing of tapping into type, strategy, and authority, because then you get exactly the right energy that is necessary for them to break in and be included. If they don't know themselves, if they're not operating correctly, they can really feel like a threat to many other people with their pushing to get in. In the detriment, we have an aggressive and often violent reaction to exclusion, the expression of frustration when not included in the material process. The 45 is supposed to be a ruler, and through this trial and error process, they make mistakes and they get excluded. And then they can get really angry because they don't want to get left out. And this is also through genetic continuity, part of a manifestor process. Manifestors don't like to be left out of the loop. They like to be informed. The lower trigram lines of the 45, they can have a bit of a conundrum in their lives. The third line is private, it's a personal destiny, and yet they're here to serve the larger community, and are often so deeply misunderstood because of that, because it doesn't necessarily come naturally to them to share what they have or to extend their grace to others. It's useful to remember that when they're involved correctly in their process, then the inevitable result will be beneficial to others. The inevitable result. It's not always pain-free, of course, but it is inevitable. Ra said that it's very difficult for someone to have the whole channel 2145 in their design. It's really designed to be an electromagnetic connection. It's designed to be dependent on interaction with others. And yet it can be a really tricky electromagnetic if there isn't awareness around the mechanic of it. He said that this is the most difficult line in gate 45. Not that the third lines are usually easy, of course, but there is often some difficulty just because that they're involved in this constant trial and error process. For the tribal leader, making and breaking bonds can be very difficult. Ra says, that the bond for them really is only broken when they die. And this is something that is clear for them in the nature of their process. They're not an elected official that you can unelect. This is a tribal leader, and you either kill them or you wait until they die, but they're going to be the leader until they go. And we have the grounding in 26, line 3, which is called influence. And we can see a genetic continuity here because the 45 line 3 can be desperate to have influence because they know that they can do good. They know they can be of service, but their third line process keeps tripping them up. You know, both of these gates, the 26 and the 45, they're tribal gates, of course. And we know that messing up in the tribe can lead to the exclusion, and the 45 does not want to experience exclusion. But they're resilient. You know, our third lines, they are adaptable and they are equipped for their life of discovery, finding out what does and doesn't work, what will and won't influence the tribe, what will and won't lead to exclusion. The moon is still in gate 62 at the moment until 1340 when it moves into gate 56, the gate of stimulation, the wanderer, an abstract gate, again in the throat center, sharing ideas, weaving experiences into stories in order to preserve memories for the collective. This is the throat gate that says, I believe. And gate 31 is next at midnight. BST, haven't said that for a while. It almost is summertime now, actually. Oh, it should be. We're well into it, aren't we? Into June. Anyway, I lead is the voice of this logical throat gate. And it's a gate that can communicate a vision for a new direction, showing others how to move toward it for a secure future by invitation. It's a projector gate after all. Here in the UK, we are moving into a general election, so there is quite a lot of focus on our elected leaders at the moment. Wherever you are in the world, our leaders are an endless source of speculation, amazement, and sometimes amusement, and sometimes for the right reasons, but not always. Who'd be an elected leader? Good God, not me. And yet I have gate 31 a couple of times. Anyway, it's not a global leader, thankfully. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, for listening, for tuning in. Any comments, please do let me know, and go gently. I'll see you tomorrow.